Chapter 371 One-Hit Kill. Part 1. A Delivery. The guard was completely bewildered. When he got to the city wall and saw what was happening, his legs went weak and he screamed, "Monster!" Outside the gates of the great Sun City stood 10 giants, their bodies surrounded by flames, as if they had crawled out of lava. They were 10 meters tall, carrying giant swords, and only slightly shorter than the city wall. So the soldiers saw the flame giant's eyes flashing with flames at first glance and screamed in fright. "Isn't this statement acceptable?" The fire giant who was knocking on the door asked in confusion. "To put it another way, I've heard my master say that," said another fire giant. "Which sentence?" the others asked. The fire giant cleared his throat and shouted in a booming voice, "Open the door, water meter check." The powerful voice startled the guards in the city, who shouted, "Go and report to the city lord." Boom. There was no need to report to the city lord. He had already sensed the fire giant's aura at the city lord's mansion, and immediately flew over in a rage. The lord of the great Sun City attained the epic realm of cultivation in the heaven and earth bank. Although he could not improve or ascend in his lifetime, he was still considered a top expert in the hell heaven. So apart from the heaven and earth money shop, he wasn't afraid of anything else and focused on living his quiet life. "A few monsters dare to run wild in my great Sun City?" The great Sun City lord roared, bringing with him rolling thunderclouds and immense momentum as he crashed down. Rumble. At the city gate, the lord of the great Sun City stopped in mid-air, his face pale and his body thin. He was clearly exhausted. After all, he was very busy with more than 100 concubines. However, his cultivation level remained at the epic level and did not decline. Even if he overexerts his body, even if he can no longer achieve an erection, his cultivation level will not decline due to his deteriorating health. Conversely, his epic cultivation level wouldn't strengthen his body, so he looks like a dying man, yet his aura remains ferocious. "So you are the lord of the great Sun City?" The fire giant stared at him coldly. "That's right. Why are you causing trouble in my great Sun City?" the great Sun City lord said coldly. "You're the lord of great Sun City, then everything is easy. We brothers are here today to ask if you're prepared to pay the price for breach of contract," the fire giant asked. "The consequences of default." This word immediately provoked the lord of the great Sun City, who panicked and instinctively glared at the fire giant, shouting, "What breach of contract price? Don't talk nonsense, there's nothing at all." The fire giants laughed. "I told you he wouldn't pay it back. This question is completely unnecessary, just kill him. These are the rules set by the master. You think it's unnecessary? I mean, this question is so humane, the owner is such a kind person." The fire giants began to talk amongst themselves, completely disregarding the lord of the great Sun City. As for the great Sun City lord's epic cultivation level, they didn't care at all. Having been trained by the ancient war book, they formed battle formations of 10. Even though they were all at the 10th level of the heavenly realm, they could easily defeat an epic level being when they joined forces. That's their skill. "Aren't you all underestimating me?" The great Sun City lord's face darkened. These 10 fire giants are only at the 10th level of the cave heaven, but he possesses the power of the epic realm. "Brothers, form a battle formation," the fire giant roared, and the 10 men united, unleashing unparalleled power in an instant. Rumble. In an instant, the 10 fire giants connected their auras and cultivation levels, combining and continuously stacking to form a powerful formation. In an instant, 10 fire giants wielded giant swords and flew up, unleashing tremendous power as the swords fell. The great Sun City lord's expression changed, and he roared, "Suppress with the blazing sun of the azure sky." Countless rays of light surged from the body of the great Sun City lord, transforming into a gigantic blazing sun that pressed down with terrifying force, aiming to suppress the 10 fire giants in one fell swoop. The 10 fire giants were not afraid. Their giant swords were unleashed early on, and the 10 of them became one, unleashing a tremendous sharpness. A sharp blade ripped through the sky, slicing through the blazing sun that the great Sun City Lord had transformed into. It was incredibly terrifying, erupting in mid-air and sweeping across 100 miles of land. After it completely erupted, rolling waves directly severed a human head. The people of Dari City stared blankly, wondering what was going on. Their city lord was killed? Bang! It wasn't until the pale head fell into the city and the people saw it face to face that they could no longer believe their eyes. The city lord has really been killed. At this moment, all the people of Dari City cheered in unison, as if it were the new year. Upon witnessing this scene, the 10 fire giants silently retreated, concealing their merit and fame. As for the cultivation level that had always been stable, they took it back. The entire Hell Heaven is undergoing dramatic changes. 10,000 fire giants are going around dealing with breached contracts, settling old scores, and liquidating personnel. Those who fail to seize an opportunity given one chance are killed without mercy. This time, no one could withstand the attack of the fire giant. All 500 contracts were completely wiped out in just 7 days. Meanwhile, in the cold moon sky, nearly 1,000 contracts were being settled, with those of higher cultivation levels being handed over to several emperors under Xiandao's command. In the cold moon heaven, an ancient city wall stands. The city lord possesses a powerful celestial artifact, and his cultivation level is at the great 9th heaven. He believes that with his cultivation, he can protect this celestial artifact. But what awaited him was an enormous iron rod that crashed into the ancient city. Rumble. The ancient city was trembling, as if it were a magnitude 10 earthquake, and many people screamed and ran out. Thump. A purple-skinned titan descended, grasped the heavenly staff, and coldly declared, "The Titan Dolly has come to settle the breach of contract." "You are an emperor." The city lord stared blankly at Dali. He was no match for him. Although he had a celestial artifact, the Titan giant's heavenly staff was no pushover either. "Yes, do you want to pay the penalty for breach of contract?" the Titan asked. "I can't pay you back," the city lord said bitterly. He borrowed celestial artifacts, and he must return celestial artifacts, and not just 1, but 3. He has been mediocre all these years, guarding this ancient city without ever wanting to look for the immortal artifact, so he can't repay it now. "Then die." The Titan didn't waste any words with him and coldly brought down his club. The heavenly staff crashed down with a deafening roar, causing the ground to collapse and turning the city lord into a bloody pulp. The celestial artifact was also taken by the Titan, who flew away without even glancing at it. "Those who fail to repay their debts shall die," the Titan thought coldly. Chapter 372: The Demon Lord's Request for an Audience. Part 2. Inside the Heaven and Earth Bank, Xiandao watched as his subordinates launched attacks and achieved victories everywhere, clearing up contracts and clearing up the bad debts that had accumulated in the past. He was in a very good mood. Especially in Hell Heaven, after the fire giants finished clearing out the 500 contracts, they also began to set up teleportation arrays to enter the fiery heaven to continue their cultivation. Xiandao was very satisfied with their progress, striving to reach the peak rather than being content with the status quo. As for himself, he is also working hard to improve himself. The Emperor realm is far from the end. In the eyes of the weak, the Emperor is already terrifying, but in Xiandao's eyes, the Emperor is nothing more than that. The realm beyond the Emperor is what Xiandao yearns for. Of course, Xiandao cannot break through now because his accumulated power is too profound. After all, his body contains the power of 10 lands and 10 great worlds, which surpasses that of anyone else. In recent days, Dragon Tooth Rice has been continuously cultivating farmland and planting Dragon Tooth Rice. With the arrival of the cold moon heaven, the spiritual energy is abundant, and the energy that Dragon Tooth Rice can provide has increased again, resulting in a large output every month. 9/10 of it fell into Xiandao's hands. He absorbed 8/10 himself and kept 1/10 for future use. Even with such a massive amount of energy, Xiandao was unable to break through to the next level. He was stuck at the threshold of the peak of the Emperor realm. Even though his true combat strength far exceeds this level, he still cannot break through. "I still need to accumulate more," but I have absorbed enough dragon tooth rice and enough spiritual dragon veins, but it still isn't enough. Li Xiandao frowned silently. If he is allowed to continue absorbing, even if he can break through to the emperor level using dragon tooth rice and spiritual dragon veins, it will be difficult for him to break through again. Breaking through to the emperor realm will almost use up all the resources he has accumulated so far. If he wants to break through again, he will have to plunder other resources. Alternatively, once the dragon tooth rice has fully recovered, the planted dragon tooth rice can regain its peak energy. But that's too far away. Li Xiandao needs to think of a solution. His previous act of using 10 lands to condense a grotto heaven was too audacious, because it required far too much energy. It can be said to be massive, with each breakthrough resulting in a doubling of growth. It can be said that if Li Xiandao had not had the Heaven and Earth Bank, he would have spent his entire life either searching for resources or exploring resource information. Moreover, Li Xiandao had an even bolder idea. He wanted to incorporate the heavens into his body. Within his own dantian, he will create a 9 heavens and 10 earths realm. At that time, even immortals will find it difficult to withstand Li Xiandao's power. But if a single earthly realm requires so many resources, wouldn't the 9 heavens require even more? Li Xiandao was somewhat unsure. Just then, Xiaoqi arrived. 7 days later, Xiaoqi finally started talking to Li Xiandao, and the two of them tacitly avoided mentioning what had happened before. Li Xiandao was mainly worried that he would offend Xiaoqi again and make her ignore him. Xiaoqi was worried that she would be shy, and that Li Xiandao had done something excessive that she couldn't stop. Both of them were preoccupied with their own thoughts, so they tacitly avoided mentioning that matter. "Master, someone wants to see you," Xiaoqi said as she walked over. Li Xiandao was taken aback and asked, "A new guest?" However, the new customer, Xiaoqi, should remind herself that this is not the right tone. Xiaoqi shook his head and said, "They are not new guests, but items from the Heaven and Earth Bank." "What do you mean by items from the Heaven and Earth Bank?" Li Xiandao didn't quite understand. "Didn't you previously serve a guest who was being harassed by a demon?" Xiaoqi reminded Li Xian. Li Xiandao nodded and said, "It must be that demon who possessed Zhongziki." "Yes, Zhongziki is gone, but the demon is still at the Heaven and Earth Bank. At the time, the demon was unconscious, and you didn't interrogate him. Now, the demon has woken up and is clamoring to see you," Xiaoqi said truthfully. "The demon wants to see me." Li Xiandao found it amusing that the demon he had captured actually wanted to see him. "What does this demon want to see me about?" Li Xiandao asked. "I just want to talk to you about something very important, a business deal," Xiaoqi said, shaking her head. "No," Li Xiandao said bluntly. "Tell it that it is now my prisoner and has no right to do business with me. Let it understand its place," Li Xiandao said coldly. Although Li Xiandao didn't know why the other party wanted to do business with him, he was unwilling to be on equal footing with a demon. He didn't come in with a pocket watch, and the demon has already been captured by Li Xiandao. He's now Li Xiandao's prisoner and doesn't have the qualifications. Xiaoqi nodded and turned to leave. Li Xiandao continued to close his eyes and ponder how to obtain massive resources to achieve a rapid breakthrough. A short while later, Xiaoqi returned and said, "The demon has learned his lesson now. He says he wants to see Master and has some things to report to Master." Li Xiandao said with satisfaction, "That's more like it. It should recognize its own position now. Go and bring it in." Xiaoqi smiled sweetly, reached out and took out a jade box, placing it in front of Li Xiandao. "I brought it for you." Li Xiandao said with satisfaction, "You're becoming more and more like a tapeworm in my stomach." Xiaoqi blushed, rolled her eyes at Li Xiandao, and said, "You are the master, and I am the steward. Naturally, I should understand the master's thoughts. I don't treat you like a butler. To me, you are an equal," Li Xiandao said with a smile, reaching out to open the jade box. Xiaoqi's beautiful eyes rippled as she looked at Li Xiandao, her expression sweet. Li Xiandao didn't notice that all his attention was on the jade box. "Tada! Li Xiandao tapped the jade box lightly with his index finger, producing a crisp sound. What do you want to say? Li Xiandao asked. Let me out first, and I'll talk to you face to face, the demon said eagerly, his voice filled with joy. Let's get to the point first. If there's any need to listen further, I'll release you, Li Xiandao said calmly. He wasn't sure if he was interested in what the demon was saying. It is definitely necessary, and it concerns hell, the demon shouted. Li Xiandao raised an eyebrow. About hell? What does hell have to do with you? Li Xiandao asked. I am the demon of hell. Long ago, the celestial realm and the 9 heavens and 10 earths lived together. Hell was where their dead went. So there are 10 Yama kings, black and white true lords, 1,000,000 soldiers, Xittagaba Bodhisattva, and so on in hell. The demon said. I know all that you're talking about, Li Xiandao said calmly. Li Xiandao had seen the 18 levels of hell, the 10 kings of hell, the black and white impermanence, and 1,000,000 ghost soldiers in some books in a universal library. I am a demon from hell. I know some secrets, and I also know about a treasure, the demon said anxiously. If you're talking about that, I'll be interested. Li Xiandao perked up as soon as he heard about the treasure. Chapter 373 108 Demon God Pillars. Part 3. Li Xiandao looked at the jade box, inside which was a ball of demonic energy, and within that energy was a soul, the very essence of the demon. If you crush the demon's soul, the demon will surely die. The demon was also panicked. It was locked in a small box, and everything was pitch black in front of it. It was struggling and crashing around, but it just couldn't break the jade box. Inside the jade box, listening to Li Xiandao's voice, the demon couldn't help but think of the time he listened to the instructions of the 10 kings of hell in hell. It was also high above, incredibly powerful, leaving him powerless to resist. The current Li Xiandao gave him this feeling, so how could the demon dare to hide it? I have information about a treasure, and I want to use it to buy my freedom, the demon shouted. After a moment of contemplation, Li Xiandao said, You want to use the information about this treasure to redeem yourself? Redemption. The demon was completely bewildered. Did he need to redeem himself? Of course, you are now my object. If I disagree, or if I seal you away for tens of thousands of years, it's all very easy, Li Xianli said matter-of-factly. I've become your object. The demon was shocked, never expecting to end up in such a miserable state. Well, have you made up your mind? Li Xiandao asked. I've thought it through, I'm willing to redeem myself, the demon shouted reluctantly. He used intelligence to redeem himself. Why does that sound so awkward? But without redemption, there is only eternal darkness. The demon has been imprisoned for 100,000 years, and he is unwilling to be imprisoned even once more. In the darkness, the demon could hardly bear a second, which was why he so desperately wanted to see Li Xiandao. Let me make this clear beforehand. If your information isn't valuable, then you can stay locked up, Li Xiandao warned in advance, not to try and fool him with a few bits of gossip. This is definitely big news, but can you keep your word? The demon asked worriedly. Don't worry, I'm a businessman, and businessmen always keep their word. After all, integrity is fundamental. Li Xiandao was talking nonsense. The demon was still uneasy, but his current situation was very bad. His range of movement was limited, and he was in a worse state than when he was imprisoned. If he didn't get out soon, he would die in a few hundred years. Having been sealed away for 100,000 years, the demon has endured it all, but now his time is running out. Speak now. If you keep dragging this out, I have no interest in listening, Li Xiandao said calmly, displeased with the demon's procrastination. After hell was merged with the immortal realm, it became a vassal of the immortal realm. The immortal realm surpassed the 9 heavens and 10 earths in one fell swoop, becoming supreme, the demon said in a deep voice. Li Xiandao nodded and said, That's right, but I already know all of that. The demon continued, Many people are dissatisfied that hell has become a vassal of the immortal realm, believing that it should not be like this, so they oppose the immortal realm and a war broke out. Li Xiandao became interested and wanted to hear something he didn't know. After the war broke out, Hell and the Immortal Realm fought fiercely at first, but later, for some reason, the higher-ups of Hell and the Immortal Realm reached an agreement to manage their own affairs and not interfere with each other. However, Hell had to acknowledge the righteousness of the Immortal Realm, which meant that Hell was nominally a vassal of the Immortal Realm, the demon said in a deep voice. Li Xiandao propped his head up with his hand and said slowly, "So you're very dissatisfied?" "Yes, the demons in Hell don't submit to anyone. How could they agree to be a vassal?" the demon said indignantly. "It's only in name," Li Xiandao added. "Even in name only, it won't do." The demon roared, clearly enraged, forgetting Li Xiandao's current status and his own. Fortunately, Li Xiandao was not angry, and simply said, "Why is it not allowed in name only? Only those with intellectual disabilities would agree to be nominally vassals of the Immortal Realm. This generation may know it's only nominal for a few hundred years, but what about 1,000 years from now? The new generation of demons, evil spirits, demons, yakshas, and so on, have all received the message from childhood that Hell is an appendage of the celestial realm. And this is only the interior of our Hell. What about the outside?" The demon became more and more angry as he spoke. After 1,000 years, people outside really believe that Hell is an appendage of the Immortal Realm, that Hell is subordinate to the Immortal Realm, and that Hell is inferior to the Immortal Realm, Li Xiandao added, explaining that this is the current mindset of the people of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Hell is inferior to the celestial realm. Hell is merely a small part of the celestial realm. The celestial realm is high above, while Hell is mired in an endless abyss, its reputation utterly ruined. To reverse this, we must defeat the Immortal Realm and spend thousands or tens of thousands of years shaping the next generation. That's why I'm angry. None of those short-sighted fools discovered the Immortal Realm's conspiracy, the demon said angrily. This is an open conspiracy, Li Xiandao corrected his mistake. Also, it's certain that not everyone is intellectually disabled. Some people have raised the issue, but the Immortal Realm bribed certain individuals to get the higher-ups in Hell to agree to the plan, Li Xiandao guessed. "How did you know?" the demon asked Li Xiandao, puzzled. "Am I right?" Li Xiandao asked. "Oh right," the demon said helplessly. "So all you've said so far is the conflict between Hell and the Immortal Realm. What does that have to do with the treasure you mentioned?" Li Xiandao asked directly. "This is a prefix," the demon said with displeasure. "Your prefix is quite long. I hope you can shorten it next time and just say treasure directly," Li Xiandao reminded the demon. As for the conflict between the Immortal Realm and Hell, Li Xiandao neither wanted to nor had the ability to get involved. Hell is not a unified place. Some agree, and others oppose. I am one of those who resolutely oppose it, the demon said. Li Xiandao listened quietly. "We split up on our own, so the resources of Hell naturally split up as well. My cultivation was pretty good back then, so I became a captain, managing more than 10,000 demons." The demon couldn't help but feel proud as he said this. Li Xiandao coughed in dissatisfaction and said, "Get to the point." Li Xiandao realized that this demon was a chatterbox. He had been imprisoned for so many years without anyone talking to him, which showed how terrifying he must be. That's why, when he had the chance to possess someone's body, he couldn't help but have a long talk with Zhong Ziki, allowing Zhong Ziki to turn the tables and bring him to the heaven and earth bank. Now his talkative nature has been activated again, and he keeps rambling off topic. Li Xiandao had to remind him. Ahem, the opposing demons plundered Hell, taking countless treasures and vast resources to forge 108 demon god pillars. The demon finally got to the point, thanks to Li Xiandao's reminder. Li Xiandao's expression hardened, and he asked, 108 demon god pillars? Yes, this is a collection of countless resources from the entire Hell, with the 10 kings of Hell contributing a great deal, the demon said solemnly. Chapter 374 An honest, reliable, and handsome boss. Part 4. Are these 108 demon god pillars forged by integrating all the resources of Hell? Li Xiandao asked, frowning. What's the point of integrating resources to forge a demon god pillar? It would be better to use it for people to cultivate. Not all the resources, just a large portion, the demon explained. Wouldn't it be better if you kept these resources for your own cultivation? Xiandao asked, puzzled. Because we need to set up a large formation to separate hell from the immortal realm, so that we can develop independently and not let the immortal realm interfere with us, the demon explained. Xiandao understood immediately. Did it succeed? Xiandao asked. We succeeded, but at the last moment, one of our traitors leaked the news, and experts from the celestial realm came to destroy the 108 demon god pillars, the demon said. Was it destroyed? Xiandao asked. People in the 9 heavens and 10 earths had no idea about this part of history because it happened between the immortal realm and hell. There were no records of these events in the Universal Library, and this was the first time Xiandao had heard of them. He hadn't expected that the immortal realm was not peaceful either. If hell doesn't submit to the celestial realm, what about the Buddhist realm, the spirit realm, the demon realm, and the monster realm? Xiandao suddenly realized that the immortal realm wasn't a very easy place to live. Something was damaged, and that's the secret I was talking about, the demon said solemnly. Xiandao got interested. Had the 108 demon god pillars really been destroyed? The people from the immortal realm still managed to destroy a corner of the formation in the end. Of the 108 demon god pillars, they knocked 12 of them away, the demon said. Xiandao's eyes lit up, and he said, You know where these 12 demon god pillars are, don't you? The demon nodded and said, I know, because I was blasted away by the people of the immortal realm along with these demon god pillars. However, I was very unlucky. After being blasted away, I was sealed and separated from the demon god pillars. Xiandao said disappointedly, So you still don't know where the demon god pillar is? Xiandao was still itching to try his luck when he heard that 12 demon god pillars had been knocked away. It consumed most of hell's resources to forge 108 demon god pillars, and then 12 of them fell down. Even if he didn't obtain all 12 roots, Xiandao was still confident that his cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds if he obtained just one. Those are resources from hell. It's on the same level as the immortal realm, not some desolate place like the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Even the celestial realm couldn't do anything to hell, so they could only resort to intrigue and create a nominal vassal state. Therefore, the energy contained in the 12 demon god pillars is an enormous sum of money for Xiandao at present. The only pity is that the demon lord and the demon god pillar were separated. The demon sensed Xiandao's disappointment and panicked, hurriedly saying, I know where those 12 demon god pillars fell, in Juntian and Songtian. I don't know exactly how many there are. Xiandao sighed in disappointment and said, How vast is the heavenly realm? With just this little bit of information, it's very difficult for me to release you. And I have more. The demon shouted nervously, though he was seething with hatred, he dared not let it out. Continue, Xiandao said calmly. Of course he knew the demon had other methods. How could a great demon from hell not be able to find the demon god pillar? Anyone who can live for 100,000 years and still be full of energy must be a great demon. I can sense the aura of the demon god pillars. Let me out, and I'll help you find them. Once I find them, they're all yours, the demon said. But I let you out, and you didn't come back, you just ran away. What am I supposed to do? Xiandao asked. No, I'm the most honest person. Back in hell, I was known as the honest and reliable young master, the demon said firmly. What a coincidence, I'm also known as an honest and reliable handsome boss, so we're the same kind of people. Do you think I'll let you out? Xiandao said with a smile. The demon sighed helplessly, knowing that Xiandao was not easily fooled. After a moment of silence he asked, What will it take for you to release me? Hand over your soul essence, Xiandao said calmly. Impossible! The demon roared in fury, handing over his soul essence, which meant entrusting his life and death to Xiandao. If Xiandao gets annoyed, he can crush the soul's origin, and it will die. Can he agree to that? If that's the case, then there's no room for discussion? Li Xiandao asked. The soul essence is out of the question, no discussion. The demon said firmly. Little Seven, take this demon to the treasure vault, put it at the very bottom, and bring it out again in 30,000 years, Li Xiandao said casually. Xiao Qi immediately stepped forward. Da-da-da. Xiao Qi's steps were like a countdown announcing the separation of the demon from freedom and light. The demon was so terrified that even the very essence of his soul trembled. Is this interesting? The demon asked Li Xiandao with grief and indignation. Is it meaningful to threaten me? The demon was stunned when he heard about the 30,000 years, and a few tears flowed down his face to express his reluctance. It's just the origin of the soul. I'm in a soul state, I don't have ears, so my hearing isn't accurate. I misheard you just now. The demon made a complete 180-degree turn and said righteously. Li Xiandao gave Xiao Qi a humorous smile. He knew that the demon couldn't stand being imprisoned for 30,000 years. So you misheard me just now, Li Xiandao said, suddenly realizing. That's right, I misheard. The demon laughed and cooperated with Li Xiandao, but he could only swallow his tears. Now I'll continue to ask you, are you willing to hand over your soul's essence? Li Xiandao asked casually. The demon sighed helplessly and said, I've handed it over. All right, now I can release you. I hope you won't play tricks on me. I have a bad temper, you know. Li Xiandao tapped the jade box and said, I dare not do it again. The demon was frightened. Now he was at the mercy of others, like a fish on a chopping board. Li Xiandao could cut off as much flesh as he wanted. After Li Xiandao picked up the mask and put it on, he opened the jade box. Boom. The demon couldn't wait to emerge, transforming into a huge mass of demonic energy, which then evolved into a white-haired demon, albeit in a soul state. The demon saw Li Xiandao at first glance. He dared not make any move, because he had already tried it before and Li Xiandao was very strong. What about the origin of the soul? Li Xiandao stretched out his hand. The demon gritted his teeth and peeled a piece of his own essence from his soul, handing it to Li Xiandao. After being stripped of its origin, the demonic body becomes somewhat dim. This is the core of its soul origin, and once it dissipates, it will be fatal. Don't worry, let's make a deal. Li Xiandao looked at the soul source, but didn't take it immediately. Instead, he looked at the demon and said, What agreement? The demon asked Li Xiandao with a puzzled look. You help me find these 12 demon god pillars. Once I have them, I will return this piece of your soul essence to you, and you will be free, Li Xiandao promised. Can I trust you? The demon asked doubtfully. I'm known as an honest and reliable handsome boss, so you can rest assured. Li Xiandao nodded firmly. Why does this sound so fake, Demon Lord? Chapter 375 The Demon Lord's Wrath. Part 5. The demon finally agreed to Li Xiandao's request. He helped Li Xiandao obtain the 12 demon god pillars, and Li Xiandao returned his soul essence to him. Should we sign a contract? Li Xiandao asked, giving the demon a glimmer of hope. Because the contract was signed, Li Xiandao had to act in accordance with it. Without signing a contract, Li Xiandao could easily renege on his promise. But the devil didn't know that, and waved his hand saying, Signing that damn contract is useless. I don't believe in that stuff. Li Xiandao did not force him. Since the demon himself was unwilling, then the demon would have to bear the consequences alone. That's all right then. You can leave now and go find out about the demon god pillar for me, then let me know, Li Xiandao said calmly. I'm leaving now? The demon looked at Li Xian with suspicion. What, you want me to invite you to stay for a meal? Li Xiandao asked back. Then it's not necessary. The demon immediately refused. Remember, the sooner you help me find the 12 demon god pillars, the safer you will be, so do your best, Li Xiandao said calmly. The demon nodded reluctantly and said, Don't worry, I value my life. I just hope you can keep our agreement. Li Xiandao replied non-committally, I am a person who values contracts the most, so you can rest assured. The demon then left with Xiao Qi, and under Xiao Qi's guidance, they left the heaven and earth bank. In his room, Xiandao held a piece of the demon's soul essence in his hand and muttered to himself, I must obtain the 12 demon god pillars. Anyone who dares to stand in my way will only bring about their own destruction. Having left the heaven and earth bank, the demon lord, in his soul form, must find a body as soon as possible. Damn it, you bastard, bandit, hooligan, shameless scum. All you know is how to take advantage of people's misfortunes. Don't give me a chance, or I'll kill you. The demon cursed as he searched for a body, his anger barely contained. He felt that Xiandao was taking advantage of his misfortune, and now his life and death were in Xiandao's hands, which made the demon very uncomfortable. He couldn't do anything about Xiandao because Xiandao valued his life very much. To put it simply, he was afraid of dying. If Xiandao wanted to kill him, it wouldn't be too easy. With a simple pinch, his soul's essence would be shattered, and the demon would die. So even though the demon was cursing and swearing, he still had to do things for Xiandao. Find those 12 demon pillars. To hell with the demon god pillar. The demon cursed angrily at the thought of the demon god pillar. How could he know where the demon pillar was? He's been imprisoned for 100,000 years. Earlier at the heaven and earth money shop, he later claimed that he could find the demon god pillar. In short, he was deceiving Xiandao, trying to get Xiandao to release him. Now Xiandao has released him, but the demon himself can no longer fulfill the boasts he made. I saw the demon god pillar fall into the heavens and the sky back then, but how long has that been? The demon became agitated at the thought. 10,000 years have passed since that incident. Over the past 100,000 years, who knows if the people in the azure heaven and the heavenly realm have taken away the demon god pillar? Over the course of 100,000 years, who knows if the people in hell have ever retrieved the demon god pillar? Over the past 100,000 years, who knows if the people of the immortal realm have taken away the demon god pillar? Too much uncertainty was giving the demon a splitting headache, and his soul was trembling. He now wished he could slap himself a few times. Why are they called the 12 demon pillars? Why not say 3 or 2 demon pillars? It's also very easy to find. The demon sighed helplessly. The most urgent thing now was to find a body. If I had possessed Zhongziki, I wouldn't be feeling so aggrieved right now, the demon lamented. Zhongziki was a man who traveled to the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Wait a minute. The demon suddenly thought of something. Zhongziki has traveled throughout the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He must know a great deal. The azure heaven and the heavenly realm must know him well. I need to find him, then possess his body and utilize his knowledge. We've come to find the demon god pillar, the demon said firmly. The demon's understanding of the 9 heavens and 10 earths dates back 100,000 years. The 9 heavens and 10 earths 100,000 years later are very unfamiliar to him. Therefore, he needed Zhongziki. He wandered at the foot of the Tian Shan Mountains, searching for a suitable body to use briefly. Is anyone here? The demon wandered around the vicinity of the Tian Shan Mountains, but found no one, and couldn't help but feel discouraged. Is this even possible? Such a large mountain range, and not a single woodcutter? The demon was unaware that not long ago, various sects and forces had attacked the Tian Shan Mountains, causing a great uproar, and the people dared not approach for a short period of time. Therefore, there was no one. After searching for a long time, the demon gave up and abandoned the search for living people. He then saw a relatively fresh corpse in a chaotic graveyard. Fine, I'll use it for now. Once I find Zhongziki, I'll devour him whole. The demon said viciously. His current miserable and tragic life is all because of Zhongziki, and he will never let Zhongziki go. Zhongziki was unaware that he had been targeted by a demon. A short while later, in the mass grave, amidst a pile of rotting corpses, stood a pale-faced young man whose heart had been pierced by a bullet. This body is really weak. It doesn't even have a heart anymore, and it smells rotten. Sigh. The demon disliked this body very much. But seeing all the rotting corpses around him, the demon restrained himself. Please give it a try. Pick up a set of clothes from the surrounding area, put them on to cover the wounds, and at the same time use demonic energy to envelop the death aura, stiffly moving the corpse. At first, I wasn't used to walking, but as I walked, I got used to it, and the joints of the corpse also loosened up. Boom. A corpse actually flew into the sky and instantly disappeared into the distance, heading to find a world-class teleportation array. No, I shouldn't have gone looking for a world-class teleportation array, the demon suddenly realized. Zhongziki said before that he came to Hanuishan to find an ancient ruin and unexpectedly encountered me. But now that his crisis is over, the most likely place he will go is still the place where I was once sealed. The demon thought of a huge possibility and became excited. Zhongziki, our feud is not over yet, the demon roared, rushing towards the area where he had once been sealed away. Zhongziki was unaware that he was in great danger. Inside the Heaven and Earth Bank, Xiandao witnessed this scene and couldn't help but laugh and cry. Zhongziki used 2 immortal artifacts and a map to save his life, and now he's in danger again? The demon seemed to have a lot of grievances against Zhongziki, and the first thing he did after gaining his freedom was to go find Zhongziki. Xiandao said quietly, "If you didn't have the pocket watch this time, you would definitely be dead." Even with the pocket watch, entering the Heaven and Earth Bank still requires paying with 2 immortal artifacts. Can Zhongziki still be brought out? If Xiandao had known that the 2 immortal artifacts Zhongziki gave him were the worst, he would have definitely made the demon devour Zhongziki. Chapter 376 All encounters are reunions after a long separation. Part 6. In an unnamed mountain range, there was still that dilapidated Taoist gate, with sparse grass and towering old trees all around. Thick vines blocked out the sun and moon, covering up endless darkness, making it look very gloomy. Crackling sounds. A bonfire burned in the dilapidated Taoist gate, occasionally exploding with the dry firewood and bamboo. The campfire illuminated the darkness. There was no sunlight around, and without it, the place would have been too eerie and terrifying. Even a campfire only illuminates a small area. The rest remains unlit. Zhongziki was not afraid of these things. He was a cultivator with a very powerful cultivation level, at the epic realm, and was about to break through to the 9th level of the Great Venerable Realm. With a bunch of immortal artifacts protecting him, he was not afraid of these demons and monsters. With the campfire burning, Zhongziki closed his eyes, circulated his internal energy, and improved himself. His leg injury had long since healed. This was just simple spiritual practice. I reflect on myself 3 times a day. Only by persisting can I make progress. That's why Zhongziki would sit cross-legged for a while every day to calm himself down. Call. Exhaling a breath of stale air, Zhongziki opened his eyes, looked at the campfire, and his gaze became melancholy. That doesn't make sense, Zhongziki muttered to himself. The treasure map he obtained revealed that there was a large treasure here, left behind by a once glorious Taoist sect. However, when Zhongziki arrived here, aside from his first encounter with the demon, where he narrowly escaped by obtaining the blood-red pocket watch, he searched the entire area within a 900-mile radius but found nothing. This puzzled Zhongziki greatly. He had been searching for treasures for 3,000 years and had always been confident in his skills. Moreover, the treasure map was genuine, drawn by people from that era. In the eyes of the veteran Zhongziki, it could not be faked. Moreover, this place was indeed once a sacred site of Taoism, and it was very magnificent, but now it is covered by forest. But even with all these true stories combined, Zhongziki still couldn't find it. Am I going to go home empty-handed this time? Zhongziki asked, unwilling to give up. This time he lost 2 immortal artifacts, although the 2 immortal artifacts were not that important to him. One of the magical artifacts was a broken, unrecognizable iron rod, and the other was a supplementary painting of a vast, turquoise sea. But no matter what, it's still a celestial artifact. Sigh, I'll search for 2 more days. If I still don't find any clues, I should go back. Zhong Ziki stared blankly at the campfire. He thought of his hometown, his family, his beautiful wife, and his two lovely children. As he was thinking, a fire suddenly ignited in Zhong Ziki's eyes, burning all the beautiful memories to ashes before he could react. No! Zhong Ziki roared in pain, took a few steps back in fear, moved away from the campfire, and stared blankly. His beautiful wife, lovely children, kind parents, and his home filled with birdsong and fragrant flowers were all burned to the ground by a fire that fell from the sky. When Zhong Ziki returned, everything had turned to ashes. At that moment, Zhong Ziki completely broke down. He searched everywhere for the murderer, but no one knew who it was. Only that furnace that brought great fire to his hometown. The stove was no ordinary object. Zhong Ziki always carried it with him. He remembered every detail of the stove clearly, whether it was the patterns, the shape, or the formation inside. Why did Zhong Ziki travel to the 9 heavens? Why did Zhong Ziki want to explore the secret realm? Why did Zhong Ziki collect all sorts of magical artifacts? All of this was simply to find out who was behind the furnace of that cultivation technique. Zhong Ziki did not tell anyone about this. He wanted to find the murderer on his own and avenge the people he cared about. However, as time went by, Zhong Ziki realized that he could no longer take revenge on his own. He had explored almost all the secret realms in the 9 heavens, but he had not found anything related to the furnace. Am I really unable to take revenge? Zhong Ziki asked blankly. No one could answer him. Zhong Ziki himself was not a peerless genius. It took him 3,000 years to reach the peak of the epic realm. He was still 9 levels away from the great emperor realm, let alone the supreme immortal. He can't break through to the level of an immortal in his entire life if he relies on himself. Zhong Ziki looked at the campfire in despair, thinking about how he had collected so many magical artifacts, but in the end, he could only use a few of them. If I could exchange a celestial artifact for a chance to take revenge, I would not hesitate, Zhong Ziki suddenly thought. Yes, a deal, the Heaven and Earth Bank. Zhong Ziki's eyes suddenly lit up. He could go to the Heaven and Earth Bank, take all his immortal artifacts, and have the Heaven and Earth Bank avenge his wife, children, parents, and home. But I don't have a pocket watch anymore. Zhong Ziki immediately became disappointed again. Without the pocket watch, he could not enter the Heaven and Earth money shop. If you can't get in, how can you talk about revenge? Boom. Just then, a blood-red light flashed in the darkness. Zhong Ziki's body trembled, and he looked in disbelief at the appearance of another blood-red pocket watch. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The pocket watch emitted a crisp sound, which reached Zhong Ziki's ears, causing him to stare at it with fascination. Seeing hope amidst despair, Zhong Ziki trembled as he reached out and took the blood-red pocket watch. Heaven is helping me. It really is heaven helping me. Zhong Ziki exclaimed excitedly. Bang! Just then, a figure appeared at the doorway. Because there was no light outside, his appearance was not clear, but his thin figure could be vaguely seen. Zhong Ziki frowned, staring at the figure he had never seen before. But judging from their imposing manner and aggressive approach, they were clearly not to be trifled with. Zhong Ziki stared intently at it, then first put away the blood-red pocket watch. He couldn't lose it. Who are you? Zhong Ziki asked with a frown, carefully examining the man. To his surprise, he found that the man's body was cold and had no temperature, and his limbs were somewhat stiff. More importantly, there was no true qi flowing in his body. It's like a corpse. But how could the body move freely? The visitor did not answer Zhong Ziki's question, but instead took a stiff step forward and completely entered the Taoist sect. It's understandable that the body would be stiff from flying for so long. As the campfire burned, the corpse entered the Taoist sect, and Zhong Ziki immediately saw its body. Large patches of lividity, deathly pale skin, lifeless gray eyes, devoid of emotion. All signs indicate that this is a corpse. Zhong Ziki frowned as he watched, gathering his inner energy, ready to strike at any moment. But the next second, the corpse actually spoke. All encounters in this world are reunions after a long separation. Mr. Zhong, it's been a long time. The voice was gentle and warm, as if an old friend was greeting him. Zhong Ziki didn't pay attention at first, but when he heard the last part, he suddenly shuddered and was completely frightened. Demon Lord. Chapter 377 Mutual Harm. Part 1. Zhong Ziki is now very panicked. He never expected the demon to reappear. And it appeared in such a terrifying way. Weren't you subdued by the owner of Tiandi Money House? Zhong Ziki asked in surprise. You can get the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank to subdue me, and I can also get the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank to release me, the demon said coldly. If you have to blame someone, blame yourself for being too careless. You actually dared to come back here and not leave. I came here to try my luck, but I didn't expect to actually run into you. The demon smiled smugly. You think you've got me cornered? Zhong Ziki's will was firm. A jade rui appeared in his hand, emerald green as water, filled with countless icy energies that could pour out in an instant and freeze everything. This is a celestial artifact, extremely powerful, and it is Zhong Ziki's source of confidence. Immortal artifacts. You have quite a few magical treasures. The demon recognized them at a glance, but he wasn't worried. As a great demon of hell, he had seen countless immortal artifacts before. I'm not afraid of you, Zhong Ziki said seriously, also trying to encourage himself. The demon was taken aback and said, Aren't you afraid of me? Yes, I'm not afraid of you. Zhong Ziki nodded firmly. You're not afraid of me like this now, but are you afraid of me like this? The demon's soul detached from the corpse, and with a boom, the entire dilapidated Taoist sect was filled with demonic energy, becoming extremely violent. Rumble. The demonic energy was so strong that it extinguished the campfire, plunging the entire Taoist sect into darkness in an instant. Only the emerald jade rui in Zhong Ziki's hand still emitted a rich light. However, this light was also severely suppressed by the demonic energy, squeezed together, making Zhong Ziki feel as if he were in a huge predicament, surrounded by dense demonic energy, and his jade rui could only protect himself. Now, are you afraid? The demon's soul emerged from the demonic energy. He was a white-haired man who looked very refined, but the surrounding demonic energy revered him. Zhong Ziki gritted his teeth, channeled his inner energy, and activated the jade rui. Boom. Extreme ice domains erupted from the jade rui, spreading outwards to resist the demonic energy. It's useless. It's just a celestial artifact. You can't activate 9 layers of celestial restrictions. With your current cultivation level, you can only activate 2 at most. I can easily withstand the power of such a celestial artifact. I said before that I'm going to take your body. The demon sneered. With all the immortal artifacts activated and the 9 layers of immortal restrictions lifted, the demon naturally couldn't withstand it. He was currently only in a soul state, which wasn't very stable. Even if he paid any price, he still couldn't stop the immortal artifacts from opening the 9 layers of immortal restrictions. In fact, once the 5 layers of immortal restrictions are activated, the demon cannot withstand them. However, now that Zhong Ziki can't break the 9-fold immortal restriction, there's nothing to fear from the demon. Why did the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank release you? Zhong Ziki asked unwillingly. Because I gave up a lot to redeem myself. It's all because of you that I had to pay such a terrible price. The demon was furious when he mentioned this, glaring at Zhong Ziki. If Zhong Ziki hadn't led him into the Heaven and Earth Bank, he wouldn't have ended up as a prisoner, and wouldn't have had to hand over his soul essence. Zhong Ziki sneered. It seems the price you paid was extremely high. The price I paid is beyond words. A dignified demon actually agreed to such a shameful condition. You will pay for it. The demon stared coldly at Zhong Ziki. You think I have no way to deal with you this time? Zhong Ziki sneered. He had a blood-red pocket watch in his hand, but he didn't plan to use it unless absolutely necessary. Zhong Ziki intended to have the Heaven and Earth Bank investigate the location of his greatest enemy, rather than wasting it on a demon. If the demon could be driven away, the best solution for Zhong Ziki would be to not use the pocket watch. I'll possess you now. Your body is the perfect vessel for me. I can use it to cultivate the summoning demon scripture, the most powerful ancient forbidden technique in hell. I didn't have the chance to cultivate it before, but during the 100,000 years of suppression, I thoroughly comprehended the summoning demon scripture. Your body is the best container for cultivating it. The demon's soul suddenly drew close, ignoring the emerald jade ruby. Rolling demonic energy pressed down, squeezing and pressing, rendering Zhong Ziki unable to move. Immortal artifacts are utterly worthless in my eyes. The demon roared, attempting to break down Zhong Ziki's psychological defenses and infiltrate him. However, Zhong Ziki's mental defenses were not broken. Instead, he sneered, "If the immortal artifact can't stop you, then what about this?" A blood-red pocket watch appeared in Zhong Ziki's hand. Surrounded by billowing demonic energy and intertwined with emerald green jade ruby, the blood-red pocket watch suddenly shone brightly, dazzlingly so. The demon was horrified at the sight. He had seen this blood-red pocket watch once before. It was because of this watch that Zhong Ziki was able to enter the Heaven and Earth Bank and bring him in, thus losing his own soul essence. Now, Zhong Ziki took out a blood-red pocket watch. The demon lord's mentality collapsed. "No!" the demon screamed, and began to possess Zhong Ziki's body. As Zhong Ziki took out the blood-red pocket watch, the demon was caught in a dilemma. Continue the possession? That would likely lead to entering the Heaven and Earth Bank and seeing Xiandao again. If he doesn't continue to possess bodies, he will rapidly weaken in his soul state. This is an unsolvable problem. The demon can only choose to continue possessing other bodies. "If you leave my body, I will not use this pocket watch," Zhong Ziki shouted. He too was facing a choice. Using this pocket watch on a villain is a waste. But the demon possessed his body, and he had to use it to save himself. "I will possess you today," the demon roared, continuing to penetrate deeper. Zhong Ziki's entire body was possessed by the demon, and the demonic energy overwhelmed him. Forced by this, Zhong Ziki roared, "Then let's do it again." Click. The blood-red pocket watch was crushed. At this moment, both the demon and Zhong Ziki fell silent and stopped torturing each other. The two looked at each other silently, speechless. When they actually crushed the pocket watch and were about to meet Xiandao, both of them were embarrassed. "I refuse to believe it. You have an endless supply of pocket watches, yet I'm still targeting you," the demon gritted his teeth. "You've ruined my plans," Zhong Ziki said through gritted teeth. "Stop talking nonsense. You'll be disappointed when you meet the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank." The demon said viciously, "I should be saying this to you. This time, I'm going to make sure you die," Zhong Ziki said with a resolute look in his eyes. Inside the Heaven and Earth money shop, Xiao Qi told Xiandao, "A guest has arrived. It's an old guest." "Who is this regular customer?" Xiandao asked, puzzled. Chapter 378 Tripartite Talks. Part 2. The Heaven and Earth Bank, the Grand Trading Hall. As Xiandao walked out, the first thing he saw was an old acquaintance. The previous guest, Zhong Ziki, has come again. No wonder Xiao Qi said it was an old acquaintance. "You weren't possessed again this time, were you?" Xiandao joked. Zhong Ziki said helplessly, "That's right, I've been possessed again." Xiandao was taken aback. He carefully examined Zhong Ziki's body and unexpectedly discovered a cluster of demonic energy in Zhong Ziki's mind. This demonic aura is very familiar to Xiandao. Isn't this the demon who was just released? How did they find Zhong Ziki again and start possessing his body? What's even more outrageous is that Zhong Ziki also possessed a blood-red pocket watch, which led him to enter the Heaven and Earth money shop. Xiandao stopped paying attention after the demon left, never expecting such a thing to happen later. "Boss of Tiandi Bank, why did you release the demon in the first place?" Zhong Ziki asked, dissatisfied. Xiandao said calmly, "Our contract only states that I will help you resolve the demon's possession, but it doesn't say that I can't release the demon. Zhong Ziki was speechless. This time I will kill this demon. He has possessed me twice. I can offer 2 immortal artifacts, as long as you kill him. Zhong Ziki decisively stated his request. Xiandao was stunned and asked, "Didn't you say there were only 2 immortal artifacts?" Zhong Ziki's face turned awkward. These are truly the last 2 immortal artifacts. I am willing to give them up in exchange for the death of the demon, Zhong Ziki said firmly. This time, he will not let the devil get away. But Xiandao shook his head and said, "If you want me to kill this demon, a few immortal artifacts won't be enough." What do you mean? Zhong Ziki was dumbfounded. A person's value lies in how much they know. How much can he offer? The value the demon can bring me is far greater than the so-called 2 immortal artifacts, so I won't kill him, Xiandao said truthfully. Even if it meant exchanging 10 immortal artifacts for the demon's life, Xiandao would not agree to find the 12 demon god pillars. Because the current value of the demon head represents the 12 demon pillars. Zhong Ziki gritted his teeth, thinking that Xiandao was complaining about not having enough immortal artifacts, and said, 5 immortal artifacts, as long as you kill the demon. Xiandao asked, "You were just saying that these were the last 2 immortal artifacts?" Zhong Ziki chuckled awkwardly and said, "Everyone has a trump card, right? 5 immortal artifacts. Enough to kill the demon." Zhong Ziki thought the 5 immortal artifacts would tempt Xiandao, but Xiandao shook his head and refused, saying, "The demon is more useful than you think." "Money shop owner, are you taking advantage of my misfortune?" Zhong Ziki was a little angry. He took out 5 immortal artifacts to kill a demon. Wasn't that enough? Xiandao said helplessly, "I'll let the demon come out himself and tell you about his value." With a wave of his hand, Xiandao awakened the demon that had been suppressed by the power of the heavenly bank. It quickly broke free from Zhong Ziki, condensed its soul, saw Xiandao, and respectfully said, "Greetings, master of the bank." Xiandao nodded and said, "Tell him what you can bring me, so he won't always feel like I'm trying to cheat him." Zhong Ziki immediately looked at the demon, wanting to see what a demon could produce that could rival 5 immortal artifacts. The demon said smugly, "I told you long ago, your coming to the Heaven and Earth Bank is useless. I can bring far more value to the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank than you, so you can't do anything to me." Zhong Ziki looked at the demon with dissatisfaction and said sarcastically, "Stop bragging. Tell me what the value is first, and maybe I can give you more." The demon scoffed, "How can you, a mere mortal, argue with a great demon from hell about the value you can bring to the money house owner? Hee, you should know that the 9 heavens used to be no less powerful than the immortal realm. You have no idea how many trump cards I have up my sleeve. Now tell me, what value can you bring to the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank?" Zhong Ziki said confidently, "The demon god pillars were forged from a vast amount of resources from the entire hell. I can find 12 of them for the heavenly bank. That's a massive amount of resources. What can you compare to me?" the demon said proudly. Zhong Ziki frowned, not expecting it to be like this. No wonder the owner of the Heaven and Earth Bank said that 5 immortal artifacts were not enough. Now you know why the moneylender didn't kill me, right? The devil smiled smugly. "I understand, but I still want to give it a try," Zhong Ziki said with a determined look in his eyes. "I can bring 12 demon god pillars to the master of the Heaven and Earth Bank. What do you have to compare with these 12 demon god pillars?" The demon frowned as he stared at Zhong Ziki. "It wouldn't be your pitiful 5 immortal artifacts, would it?" the demon said disdainfully. 50 immortal artifacts. Zhong Ziki said directly, his words resolute, showing that he had made up his mind and was revealing all his assets. Xiandao was taken aback and looked at Zhong Ziki. Had he misheard? 50 immortal artifacts. This is no joke. You're lying, right? Nonsense. Even an immortal couldn't possibly possess 50 immortal artifacts. The demon scoffed, accusing Zhong Ziki of boasting. Bang! Zhong Ziki was not intimidated at all. He took out his magic weapon, the mountain and river map, and shook it fiercely. Splash! One by one, immortal artifacts fell down, including swords, spears, halberds, and various other magical treasures. A dazzling array of 50 items were laid out on the ground, brimming with spiritual energy and creating a vibrant atmosphere. Xiandao was dumbfounded. The demon opened his mouth wide, unable to close it for a long time. Zhong Ziki looked at the demon and sneered. Now you know what I can offer is not bad either. Are you fucking a wholesaler? How can you have so many immortal artifacts? This is not scientific. The demon stared blankly, not believing his eyes at all. Zhong Ziki said smugly, "Do you think I've wandered around the Nine Heavens world for 3,000 years, searching for secret realms and exploring treasures, without gaining anything? Let me tell you, these are my hauls over the years, a total of 52 immortal artifacts. I traded 2 of them before, and now I have 50 more here. I'll buy your life. I wonder if that's enough." Zhong Ziki said coldly, then asked Xiandao. The demon looked at Xiandao nervously. As soon as he saw 50 immortal artifacts being poured out, he knew things were going badly. If Xiandao was tempted, he would be in trouble. Looking at the 50 immortal artifacts lying on the ground, Xiandao realized that this was a huge sum of money. Xiandao admitted that he had never seen this huge sum of money. He really wanted it. At the same time, Xiandao was also very greedy. He also wanted the 12 demon god pillars that the demon had mentioned. So Xiandao thought for a moment, then laughed and said, "Gentlemen, we can discuss this matter properly. I'll hold a 3-way meeting to come up with a result that everyone can accept." For Xiandao, a situation that everyone can accept means he wants it all. Chapter 379 Fire God. Part 3. In the main trading hall of the Heaven and Earth Bank, there is a round table. Xiandao sat on one side, the Demon Lord on the other, and Zhong Ziki on the third, forming a triangle. Now, because both of you can bring me huge benefits, I don't want to give either of you up, Xiandao said, revealing his true feelings. Speak frankly. Of course, this is also because Xiandao is unscrupulous and the most stable of the 3 parties, sitting firmly on the sidelines. Zhong Ziki and the demon remained silent, listening attentively. The demon's trump card is the 12 demon pillars, but he himself is also very unsure, because he doesn't know where the 12 demon pillars are. Therefore, the demon lord desperately needs Zhong Ziki's body. Zhong Ziki was also very uneasy. Although he had brought out 50 immortal artifacts, he was essentially the weakest of the 3. If Xiandao ignores him, he will be possessed by the demon. Although he came in with a pocket watch, he couldn't persuade Xiandao, so it was all in vain. So the 2 of them fell silent. "I hope you can both share your difficulties, and then I will help you solve them and come up with a solution that suits everyone," Xiandao said, looking at the 2 of them. Both the demon and Zhong Ziki remained silent, their minds racing. "Let's start with you." Seeing that neither of them intended to speak first, Xiandao pointed and named the demon. Zhong Ziki immediately looked at the demon, his expression serious. Xiandao watched silently as well. "I have to possess another body. I can't maintain this soul state for long. My body was shattered 100,000 years ago and suppressed for 100,000 years. Now that the seal has weakened, I've been able to emerge. And Zhong Ziki's body is the most suitable vessel for me," the demon said in a deep voice, revealing his predicament. Xiandao nodded and asked, "Is there anything else?" "I can compromise. I will take over Zhong Ziki's body and let his soul leave." "Master, you can help him find a good body," the demon suggested. Zhong Ziki shook his head silently. "Is there any more?" Xiandao asked. "No more for now," the demon said, shaking his head. Xiandao looked at Zhong Ziki and said, "Tell me about your predicament." "It's impossible for me to give my body to the demon. He has no right to try to possess me. This is a very domineering act, and he did not get my consent," Zhong Ziki said indignantly. "I am a demon," the demon said coldly. As a great demon of hell, he had no regard for human morality. Xiandao glanced at the demon and said coldly, "They're talking, so shut up." The demon was startled and immediately shut his mouth, not daring to interrupt. Xiandao said calmly, "Continue. I have a deep-seated hatred, and this body must be used to take revenge. I cannot use any other body to take revenge." Zhong Ziki looked at Xiandao with hopeful eyes. Xiandao's heart stirred. The deep-seated hatred for Zhong Ziki might be the key to breaking the deadlock. "What is your deepest hatred?" Xiandao asked. Zhong Ziki said solemnly, "My family, my hometown, all my relatives from childhood to adulthood were burned to death by a fire that fell from the sky. I want revenge. I don't care if this body is given to the demon as long as I can take revenge. But first, I must use this body to take revenge," Zhong Ziki said firmly. Xiandao was secretly delighted. As expected, the key to breaking the deadlock lay with Zhong Ziki. "Now can you tell me who your enemy is?" Xiandao asked. "I don't know," Zhong Ziki said, lowering his head and looking dejected. Xiandao blinked and asked, "Don't know, or can't find it?" "That fire came from the sky. I was out hunting at the time, and by the time I returned, it was all too late. My wife, my children, my parents, my relatives and friends, were all reduced to ashes. On the entire island of my hometown, only one stove was still spewing flames." Zhong Ziki took a deep breath and gritted his teeth as he spoke. Xiandao looked at him and said, "Therefore, this furnace has become the most crucial evidence." "Yes, but unfortunately, I've traveled all over the 9 heavens, explored many treasure lands, and obtained more than 50 immortal artifacts, but I haven't found any news about the furnace," Zhong Ziki said disappointedly. "Bring out your stove and let us see it," Xiandao said after thinking for a moment. Zhong Ziki immediately took out a 10-meter-tall furnace from his magic treasure, the mountain and river map. Thump. Standing on 3 legs, the stove has 2 ears and is carved with many mysterious characters, as well as animal images, including birds and beasts, phoenixes, qilin, black tortoises, dragons, and so on. The characters on the stove itself are difficult to decipher. They are not any modern script, and Xiandao does not recognize them. Zhong Ziki said regretfully, "It is because of this character that I have searched through all the major books in the 9 heavens and visited all the great scholars, writers, and experts in history, but I have not been able to recognize it." "This is cuneiform script," the demon suddenly said. "Brush." Xiandao and Zhong Ziki immediately stared at him. Zhong Ziki's eyes lit up, and he asked tremblingly, "You recognize this character?" The demon smiled confidently and said, "I am the great demon of hell. This kind of cuneiform script is very rare and precious. Most people don't recognize it at all, but I happen to recognize it." "Tell me, what does it say?" Zhong Ziki asked eagerly. The demon remained silent and looked at Xiandao. Xiandao said calmly, "If the demon helps you find the owner of this furnace, what will you say in return?" Zhong Ziki thought about it carefully and said, "Once I have taken my revenge, I will give this body to you and find another one myself." The demon blinked and said, "You can't take revenge on your own." Zhong Ziki frowned, looked at the demon, and asked, not quite understanding, "What do you mean by that?" Xiandao watched silently. "Those cuneiform characters say that this furnace belongs to the fire god, who is a powerful figure in the celestial court who controls flames. He is a true immortal and very famous in the celestial realm. You have cultivated for 3,000 years and are only just about to break through to the great venerable realm. You cannot ascend to the celestial realm on your own in this lifetime. Therefore you cannot take revenge," the demon explained in detail. After hearing this, Zhong Ziki sat there in a daze. He never expected that this stove actually belonged to the fire god of the celestial court in the celestial realm. Just as the demon said, Zhong Ziki could never avenge himself in this lifetime. This feeling is just too awful. Knowing the enemy, Zhong Ziki discovered the vast difference between himself and the enemy, as vast as the difference between heaven and earth, which made him want to cry. He was incompetent. He couldn't avenge his wife, his children, or his parents. At this moment, Zhong Ziki felt a deep sense of self-reproach. So you and I will temporarily merge into one body and cultivate the supreme hellish technique summoning demon scripture. I guarantee you can ascend and personally kill the fire god lord, the demon's voice tempted. Should I sign chapter 380? Part 4. The demon's suggestion stirred something in Zhong Ziki's heart. His only thought now was revenge. Upon learning that his enemy was the fire god of the celestial realm, Zhong Ziki was utterly desperate. Now, the demon gave him a glimmer of hope, and Zhong Ziki's breathing quickened. The demon smiled smugly, knowing that Zhong Ziki would not be able to refuse the offer. Once Zhong Ziki agrees, he can obtain this body, completely possess it, cultivate the summoning demon scripture, and then refine Zhong Ziki's soul. As for revenge, the demon said he was just talking. He was a demon from hell, and cunning, treacherous, and ruthless were his defining characteristics. Honesty is not one of these labels. Zhong Ziki looked extremely excited. He stared intently at the demon and asked, "Can you really help me get revenge?" The demon nodded decisively and said, "That's right. Is the summoning demon scripture that powerful?" Zhong Ziki continued to ask. "The demon summoning scripture is the most suitable for your physique. Once you start cultivating it, you will be 100% invincible throughout the heavens," the demon said decisively. Zhong Ziki was tempted and said, "I agree to let you enter my body to cultivate the summoning demon scripture." The demon became excited and immediately wanted to enter Zhong Ziki's body. "Wait." Zhong Ziki calmed down and stared at the demon. "What is it?" The demon blinked, urging him to hurry up and go in, so that Zhong Ziki would be unable to cause any trouble. At that time, the demon will immediately turn on you and obliterate Zhong Ziki's soul. Revenge. That's your grudge against Zhong Ziki, not mine, the devil's grudge. The devil had already made his plans. However, Zhong Ziki was not intellectually disabled and did not believe only one side of the story. He looked at Xiandao and asked respectfully, "Master of the money house, is the summoning demon scripture that the demon mentioned really that powerful?" Xiandao looked at Xiao Qi should know this. The demon summoning scripture is an extremely terrifying technique, created by an ancient great demon. Practicing this technique can indeed grant one earth-shattering power, Xiao Qi said from the side. The demon said smugly, "I didn't lie to you, did I? This technique is indeed very powerful. And let me tell you, this technique seems to have a natural affinity with your bloodline. This natural affinity is the greatest benefit of cultivating the demon summoning scripture. You'll progress by leaps and bounds in a day. Plus, with my demonic energy, you can advance at lightning speed." The demon jumped up excitedly and said. The demon felt a surge of secret pleasure at the thought that he would soon be able to use Zhong Ziki's body to cultivate the summoning demon scripture that he had been longing for. Zhong Ziki received the answer and felt relieved. He then knelt down directly before Xiandao. Bang! He kowtowed deeply. The demon was dumbfounded. What was going on? Xiao Qi looked at Zhong Ziki strangely. What was he doing? Xiandao sat in a chair, legs crossed, watching silently, and said, "Why are you kowtowing to me?" "Lord of the Bank, I would like to offer you 50 immortal artifacts in exchange for your service as my slave. I am willing to serve you like a beast of burden," Zhong Ziki said in a deep voice. "Are you out of your mind?" The demon snarled, his face turning grim. He vaguely guessed what was going on, and his breathing became rapid. Brush. Xiandao gave the demon a cold glance, which startled the demon so much that he swallowed all his words. Xiandao looked at Zhong Ziki, smiled, and said, "You're looking for a powerful backer, aren't you?" "That's right. I don't trust dealing with demons, but I trust you completely. So I want to become your subordinate, then merge with the demon and cultivate the demon summoning scripture together. And with you, Master, as my witness, I'll sign a contract, writing down all the pros and cons, with you as my witness. I think the demon wouldn't dare to harm me then." Zhong Ziki's voice was clear and his thoughts were logical and well-founded, which made Xiao Qi praise him. But this infuriated the demon. Fuck your contract. The devil had no intention of signing any bullshit contract because he had no intention of abiding by any agreement. Zhong Ziki knew that the demon was not trustworthy, which is why he was willing to acknowledge Li Xiandao as his master and completely sell himself to Li Xiandao in order to have some guarantee. So Li Xiandao smiled and exclaimed, "You are very clever." "Thank you for your praise, master," Zhong Ziki said respectfully, still kneeling and refusing to stand up. Li Xiandao snapped his fingers and said, "Xiao Qi, prepare a contract, a lifetime contract." Xiao Qi deftly produced a contract, a lifetime master-servant contract. "Sign it. Once you sign, you're mine." Li Xiandao calmly handed over the pen. Zhong Ziki took the pen, but instead of signing it immediately, he looked at the devil. The devilish man forced a smile, his face grim, and desperately wanted to tell him not to sign. Being someone's slave is not good at all. But Zhong Ziki laughed and said, "If you don't want me to sign, then I will sign." The demon's face turned as black as the bottom of a pot in an instant. He was panting heavily, his anger surging within him. He was about to be driven mad by Zhong Ziki. Brush. However, Li Xiandao's icy demeanor, like snow falling in the dead of winter, instantly froze the demon's anger, leaving him unable to vent his rage and feeling utterly stifled. Zhong Ziki acted decisively and signed the document. Li Xiandao looked at the contract with satisfaction and said, "Xiao Qi, put away all the immortal artifacts." Xiao Qi immediately went over and collected all 50 immortal artifacts. "Oh right, give the landscape map to Zhong Ziki," Li Xiandao reminded him. The landscape painting was, after all, Zhong Ziki's natal magic weapon. It wouldn't be good to take it away. "Thank you, master," Zhong Ziki said gratefully. Li Xiandao said calmly, "Now that you're mine, I'll naturally take care of you." Zhong Ziki felt much better now. It was indeed the right thing to do to sell himself into servitude. Li Xiandao's attitude towards his own people immediately changed. "Master, please be a witness and supervise us as we sign this contract," Zhong Ziki said to Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao nodded, then looked at the demon and asked, "Will you sign this contract?" The demon looked at Li Xiandao with a sense of humiliation, then at Zhong Ziki with a sense of humiliation, feeling so frustrated he wanted to vomit blood. Just moments ago it was a tripartite meeting, but now he has become the weaker party. Moreover, his soul essence was still under Li Xiandao's control, and he was completely unable to resist Li Xiandao. "Sign my ass. I have no desire to make an enemy of the fire god of the celestial court," the demon cursed inwardly. "Zhong Ziki is such a fool. He sold himself into slavery and he's still so funny. It's a total rip-off. You sold yourself out, and now I'm dragged into it too. I'm... and asterisk UN percent hashtag." The demon cursed inwardly with a string of vulgarities that were difficult to describe in words and were utterly offensive. However, on the surface, he still managed to force a smile, nodded with difficulty and said, "Sign it. How can I not sign such a good contract?" If he weren't so vehemently opposed, his credibility would be much higher.